I have read through the connecting to and configuring data section in the learning site, so now I am going to follow along with the guided. I already looked at it a little before and was having some troubleshooting, having some issues, so now I pretty much know how to do this. First little part, and then so gonna hit use data interpreter. And then I've selected the data, I've hit data interpreter. Alright, now I'm gonna click here to see all the changes I've made so far. We're gonna keep this as is, which is fine. Then deciding to rename this field to be more meaningful. I guess I can change one of these to be more meaningful, but I don't really feel like it's necessary to do that, so I'm not going to change it, even though I know how to change it. You go there and you hit rename field and then whatever, but I'm going to leave that as is because I feel like that fits. Alright, okay, rename the field, typing order number, and then you press enter. Yeah, that all makes sense. You know that your colleague's business does not use the ship ID field. Use the icon in the metadata profile row to remove the field from flow. Alright, so I guess I can just remove one of these fields. Um, Attendance probably doesn't matter that much for this, so to remove the field, we're just gonna hit X. Alright, so then it shows right there that we removed that field. I guess I will rename a field since that's one of the changes. I guess I'll just rename this year played to be more specific. You also know that the status field can be hidden from the flow until the output is generated. Hide the field using the icon in the field's metadata profile row. Alright, I guess we'll just remove one of the rows. Or hide it. Did they say hide it? Yeah, hide. So I'll hide this one just for now. You decide the location field would be more meaningful to others if it was renamed. Select the field and then use the toolbar to start the renaming process. Alright, we already did a renaming. This one already says country, so yeah, it's pretty much pretty clear. So I think I'm gonna keep that as is. They're just renaming it. The formatting of the date and time field is not what you expected. Try changing the data type for the field to data and time. All of these look pretty much good. This actually needs to be changed because that does not look good. So I don't know if I can change that. Okay, so filter calculation. Okay, so okay, type number decimal. That did not do anything. Number whole. String. Okay, this makes it better. That makes the years correct. You can see by the null in the preview values that changing the data type did not produce the expected results. I did do the expected results for me, so I'm gonna just continue on this. When the data type changed by the right clicking the icon in the changes column. To practice that, I'll just remove the change on a different one. I'll just remove the year played thing so it goes back to year. Yeah, that looks good. In the changes column in the metadata profile and the changes tab in the input pane, you can see all the cleaning operations for the step of the flow. Click anywhere to. Yeah, so pretty much you can just see all the changes here and here. That makes sense. You now know how to connect the data to configure it using data interpreter and clean operations. Alright, cool. And I will pause the video now and then start up with the next activity after I read the next section. Alright, now I've read through the beginning part of examining your data and I'm doing the first try it section. Alright, so it says imagine that you're planning to track sales for a small business. In TableauPrep, study the data distributions and use highlighting to examine this data. Determine whether there are issues with the data that you would want to correct or further explore further. Click anywhere to continue. Alright, created a prep flow and are now looking at the orders data in the profile pane. For me, I'll say that's just like the year. We can scroll to see the profile pane has a profile card for each field. Let's focus just on the profile pane by dragging to adjust the amount of flow pane that is showing. So I guess I'm gonna drag. How do I do that? I see. You can show that you are curious about the quantity typically. Alright, so I can see the specific values right here. Okay, cool. The most common bin range for the orders 0 to 50, there was 5 in his order. Let's click anywhere to continue. For us, the most of something looks like the goals scored was in, most goals scored was in the 140 to 150 range. Okay, cool, and then we can see all that highlighted if we click right there. We'll go to countries and say I'm most interested in Germany. Let's see what it says to do. Alright, we go over Germany and we see that 2 rows, 10%. Alright, so that's the data specifically for Germany. Any duplicate rows. There's Germany, France, and Germany. I'm gonna hit both of those, so I do that. Show only the data grid. Show data grid. Okay, cool. So we're there now. You may notice that these years values are numbers. This is something else that we would use prep to correct. And I corrected those years already in the previous try now. So these 3 are the same. Highlighting the identical values on the data grid shows that the records for the locations of Akron and Akron both have a state value of Ohio and a year of 2016. Using the toolbar, switch the view to see the profile pane again. You would like to examine possible outliers, unexpected values in the quantity field. Click the quantity profile card header. So any numbers, I don't know if there's not a quantity, but there is a qualified teams. So we'll choose that. Detail view. Alright, so we'll hit those 3 dots and then hit detail. It already is in detail, so that's cool. Nulls and negative numbers for the quantity ordered are unexpected values. The negative numbers can be returned items, but you make a note to look into these values. We're just dealing with the World Cup stuff. There shouldn't be any negative values, so I'm just gonna take note of this step, and that's all. So these are just going through unexpected values, so I get how that would work for that. I wonder if there's anything else. There, it all seems to be in detail right now. Oh, this one's not. This is in summary. So if I put it in detail, okay, yeah. So these ones have a lot more data sets that's like more specific if I wanted to really look into it instead of just the ranges. So I understand what that can be used for. And is all right. Cool. And I will see you in the next try it. Alright, now I'm completely done reading through the examining your data, so now I'm going to do the second try it within this section. We can scroll to see the profile pane, which has a profile card for each field. Yep, looking at all this, I'm gonna click off of Alright, scroll through for each field. Let's focus just on the profile pane by dragging to adjust the amount of the flow pane that is showing. I already did that in the last step, so we're good. You would like to determine the quantity that was ordered the most frequently and then see how many orders there were for that value. Let's say that I wanted to see all the winners, and actually I might not do that, so I could do like a number thing, quantitative data. So let's do matches played. I'm going to click on matches played. So I clicked on the tab that I want. Okay. Sort to determine the quantity that was ordered the most frequently. So what we're going to do, I guess, is press that, and then I'm going to press this, and by descending, so the most frequent winner, or the most frequent matches played is up here. So, matches played, 64, 25% rows. You would like to investigate the values in the state field, click the state profile card header. I'll just hit the qualified teams. And then it says expect no more than 50, but that's with theirs. We'll just make up something for ours. Let's scroll through the sorted values to investigate. And then it looks like some are spelled and some are shortened. So with this we can search And then here we'll do the countries and see if there's anything that is twice. Looks like everything's pretty good, but we'll go, just to show that we know how, we'll do search, S, enter. So those are all the ones that include the S. So we know how to search. Okay, so can close the search and then hit that to close the whole thing. Oh, did I miss something? Oh, nope, that was it. Alright. Alright, see you in the next try it section. Alright, I have read through the cleaning data with one-click operations, and now I'm going to start the guided activity. Guided activity, clean your data with one-click operations. Complete the necessary actions to add a cleaning step to the flow, and I'm pretty sure that I already have a cleaning thing. I do, so all I'm gonna do probably is rename it. This is add a cleaning step. Yep, and so let's rename the cleaning step, right click the step to begin this process, and I think we're just gonna name it quick clean. Yeah, quick cleaning. So we're gonna right click that, rename, and quick clean, enter. Alright, and so then that saves. We can now apply cleaning operations. Let's start by viewing and applying a recommendation. And then there are a lot of fields that looks like they have recommendations. Those are with the little light bulb looking things. Alright, let's look at the recommendation for the runners up. Change data role to country/region. Yeah, so we'll apply this. This is more information than we need. We want to split the field to retain only the date. I'm going to actually look at these as well. Okay, so it looks like all of these are because of these being different, but also I don't see how date and time field contains more information than we need. We want to split the field to retain only the date. Hover over the date and time field header to begin this action. For an automatic split. So maybe I want to do an automatic split over over the date and time field header to begin this action. Okay, so let's do more options here, and then split values, and then we'll do an automatic split for this. How should we split this data? Split off, let's say the last, or the first 6 field, just to practice splitting. Enter a separator, just a comma. Alright, so now it's split those. Select the automatic split. Just want the one. It's top tool to undo the automatic split. Alright, so we can go back one. Say we don't want that to happen, so undo. Notice the T between the date and time. We don't really have that for any of these. So I'll just keep using the runners up. Use the more options to run a custom split. So we'll go here, split, custom split, use the separator. Most of these have the letter A in it, so even though it's not like correct, just to practice the split, I'm gonna use the letter A. And then we will apply it and see what happens. So even though it makes no sense right now, because I'm splitting it using the letter A, I'm still practicing using the splitting tool. And then rename the new field. I'm just gonna rename it before A. Like I said, logically it doesn't really make any sense right now, but this is just to practice, so. Alright, now we're changing the data field's data type to a date. Use the profile card to perform this action. So the menu. So this is where we change it. I'm not going to do this right now, but this is just to show. But yeah, it just needs to stay a string. That's all it is. To remove the original date and time field, options, I'm going to remove the field that I created because, once again, it makes absolutely no sense. I was just doing it to practice these things. We're now ready to apply a quick cleaning operation to some field values. Some state values start with an extra space. Use the more options menu to trim these spaces. I don't know if any of these start with an extra space or not. I can search. Space, enter. Okay, so I guess, well, South Africa has a space, but maybe we don't want a space in between the South and Africa part. More options menu to trim. So we're gonna hit clean. Clean. And then trim spaces. Alright, so now that South Africa shouldn't have a space in between it, but it still does. Okay, maybe, yeah, I need to select it and then hit clean and then trim spaces. Right click. Clean. Maybe just remove all spaces. Alright, now it looks like... Alright, so I've practiced getting rid of spaces. What do you notice? Some of the values are not two-letter abbreviations. Click anywhere to continue. Let's undo our operation to trim spaces. We plan to use a different cleaning method in a later activity. Open the changes pane to begin. Alright, open the changes pane. And now we're going to remove that last change. So, remove, and now we're back to the same space with South Africa. Alright, perform some one-click cleaning operations on your data, viewed results, and modify. Alright, and I think this is one of the last try nows, or try it, so I will see you in the next try it. Hello for the last time. This is the last try it activity for the validating your data. I believe I have to open up the desktop version, which I've done right here, and so now we are going to go through this guide to do the last part of the try it. Click the cleaning step to open the profile pane. Alright, and that's already open, so we're good to go there. Now open the changes pane to review the applied cleaning operations, and that's already open as well from the last try it activity. Now we can review the applied changes. A custom split was performed on the date and time field. So it's just going over the changes. To validate these changes were necessary, let's preview the data prior to cleaning operations. To see the data prior to cleaning, you will need to insert a step. Hover over the flow line to operate the insert menu. Alright, and so we're going to hover over this to insert a cleaning one, I believe. And this is going to be before we made any of those changes. Let's rename this step Data Before Cleaning. When you preview a step in the flow, Tableau Desktop launches to a blank worksheet with the data loaded in the state that it appears in the step of the flow. You preview a step in the flow. Tile desktop launches to a blank worksheet with the data loaded. Hit and preview the data prior to any cleaning operations. Preview and Tableau desktop. Okay. So that is what we need to do. Finished running flow. Okay. You ran the flow through its state before any applied cleaning operations. Blank worksheet with the data loaded prior to any cleaning operations. Note that the date and time field. Okay, cool. So now this has opened up. Cool. I was worried that it wouldn't because I have had some trouble in the past, but it works. Note that the date and time field is string and the order date field does not yet exist in the data. So it's just talking about these right over here. And it's talking about the split and how it wasn't part of that, but I deleted that in the last step, I believe, so that wouldn't be there anyway. We created a visualization with date and time and columns and quantity and rows. As you can see, the data would not be easy to analyze from this format. Let's hit country. Or maybe, I guess, did it say to drop a field there? I'll drop it here. Alright, so it's just, whoa, okay, cool. So yeah, it's just showing all the countries right here. And I go back. Let's drop the years. Okay. Now let's preview the data after cleaning operations and compare the results. Okay, so I guess we're just gonna go to after this, after the data was cleaned, and then preview in Tableau Desktop, running flow. Alright, and it should open another down here, if I'm not wrong, and yep, there it is. And I think in this try it now, we're just kind of reviewing the differences between. So this, the runners up. So I'll take this away and I'll put the runners up here. And then for this one, I'll also put the runners up here. You now ran the flow. Alright, so it's just showing that the differences in the data. There wasn't much I did with this data. Because it was, oh, actually, you know what? I did change how we processed the year. So the year there, and then the year here. Well, okay. I guess it never... Oh, no, what it was is I changed that in the very first step to make it better. Alright, the point is, I know how to do it, and what I am supposed to do. It's just that the data wasn't exactly the same. All right, and so that's all the try-its. Seems good enough. If I have any issues, I can always come back to this video and these things and check it out. All right, thank you.